Alright to YouTube, another one of Kip's Clips. So I've been looking into a wee bit of history in and around, I don't know, the late 1600s, 1700s and 1800s. Yeah, you had the, oh Jesus, for the specific dates, you had the American Revolution, it was the American War of Independence, that was 1775. You had the Battle of Waterloo, 1885, and you had the French Revolution, 1789. Now, all those three things combined very much changed the world at the time. French Revolution, the ultimate independence that America gained, and the corporate takeover of the Rothschilds of the London Stock Exchange due to their advanced intelligence at the Battle of Waterloo. Now, when I've been looking over these wee bits of time, who enforces all these corporate Roman maritime laws? Who are the foot soldiers? Who are the human beings that have been manipulated into a position that they're willing to be so unhumane to another human being? And when I looked into it, funnily enough, the roots are in and around Glasgow, in and around the exact same time line that I've been looking in at. And I'll show you precisely what I mean. Now, if you just go and look into sort of the history of law enforcement and the creation of it in the UK as, I would say, well, as it exists just now, as the model of all modern day police forces, the origins of that is in Glasgow, the city of Glasgow. And at the time of the city of Glasgow, every major player in the city of Glasgow was a Mason. Now, when I've came across this, when I've mentioned this stuff before in videos, I'm not talking about it being a Masonic conspiracy in modern day terms. There are very many Masons out there that have got nothing to do with this. I'm talking about back then, the very high, the elites using the Masonic fraternity. They don't need to use the Masonic fraternity anymore. They've got telephones, internet, they've got other ways of communicating and keeping the brotherhood and each to their own and stuff. But back then, these clubs, these fraternities, very much were central part of the world change that was happening, and ultimately it was sold as a can of tin beans, baked beans or whatever. But when when the dust had settled and you had a chance to sit down and open up the tin, we were left with a tin of dog food, because we were sold these revolutions in the past. You can't sell a revolution telling people that you're going to rock up and fucking enslave them worse than they were in before and get them to go behind you with a revolution. You're going to have to sell them some bull crap to get behind you and throw out the current slave masters, and then what they do is they bring in even more corporate fascism slave masters. So anyway, if you go and look back into the timeline, we'll look at the timeline here. You've got the seven... you've got no real record of anything resembling a police force. Now, I'm not talking about town guards, stuff like that. Even the word policia or whatever, I know it's French, Latin, related to the running of the town, the people who ran the town, policia, politicians. It comes from along those lines, but the first time police was used as in a force, and I would argue in a corporate sense, was in Glasgow. Now, so what have you got? You've got the establishment, what is it? So you had the town guard in Edinburgh at the time. Now, you had London's Bow Street runners established, considered the foundation of all modern police forces. Now, City of Glasgow Police, it is sometimes described as the first modern style municipal police force, although due to the origins of Glasgow's small size and varied duties as well as policing, they also fought fires, in many ways resembling. This title has previously been claimed by London The London Met Police, however, following formal enforcement action by the Advertising Standards Authority, the Met Police gave written undertaking never to repeat the claim again. So the City of Glasgow Police can claim to be the first modern style police force. Why there was an argument about that and I had to go to the Advertising Standards Committee, I do not know. But anyway, that was just now. So if you look, what you've got here, you have London's Bow Street Runners established, right, in 1749. Now, at the exact same time, well, in and around the same timeline, you have in Glasgow. Now, this wasn't under any act of parliament or any law. This was just like, I don't know, just people getting together, private commerce, the London Bow Street Runners. Then obviously they had the Marine Police again down at the docks, where all the merchants were. That's where the trade was happening. It was corporate police. 1979, you had the Glasgow magistrate appointed James Buchanan as the first inspector of the Glasgow Police. Now, this was the first time the term was used. Initially failed through lack of funding. So this was in 79, then you come up to 1800. The Glasgow Police Act. So it only took them 11 years to lobby Parliament enough to get Parliament to pass an act to allow the City of Glasgow, and I'll go on to them being the corporation, the city, and this is what I'm talking about, the corporate police, the establishment of corporate police forces. The Glasgow Police Act, the first such act in Britain, was finally passed through the persistence of Glasgow City authorities. This allowed the formation of the Glasgow City of Glasgow Police, funded by taxation of local citizens to prevent crime. This was quickly followed by the setting up of similar police forces in other towns. Now, this is when you see the transformation happening between keeping the peace, common law, and your stats, acutes, thought crimes, and your preventive crime measures coming in. Now, I'll leave a link for all this down below as well. If he's also on a tangent, here is the building that is associated with the establishment of what is now known as Strathclyde Police, the first official police force in the world. And what do you have outside? Obviously, you've got your naked little children and your Royal Dutch Shell sign. Of course, you can't actually read the plaque there, but that plaque, believe me, I've been there, I've read it, commemorates this building is dedicated to the foundation of what is now known as Strathclyde Police Force. That's not verbatim. But anyway, back to the fun and games. Now, this is quite a good resource. All links will be below. Hopefully I'll remember, because sometimes I do forget. Now, I was having a look in here, and this is badly formatted, so... this was the change between... in fact, sorry, I know it's all over the place, but what then I can go on to show... If you see all the establishment now of all these police forces, you have the Glasgow Police Act. There's a committee examining the policing of London in 1812. And then there's the Met being set up in 1829 officially. Now, after you've had this transition from the first Glasgow Police Act in 1800 to 1829, now look at all the Special Constables Act, Municipal Corporations Act 1835. This is where you've seen all the corporations jump on board, lobby the politicians and sell out. 1815, Battle of Waterloo, that is when Rothschilds bought over the London Stock Exchange. That's when it stopped becoming a stock exchange and then just became a monopoly. That's when the current corporate monopoly that we're living under just now, I believe, it's accelerated. So if you look on here, I mean, just look at it. County Police Act, County and Borough Police Act, all these acts getting put in place to consolidate the establishment of the corporate police force, who no longer uphold the corporate law, but are more concerned by all these statutes, legislation and acts, which is meant to be a contract between ourselves. It's meant to be a contract. You're meant to agree. You're meant to participate in that contract. So where was I? Now I'll leave a link for this, but if you go and read it, what you'll see is it will explain. I had this. Oh, let's see if I can find it easier. So here was the 1786 Glasgow magistrates, namely, you had the Lord Provost, a merchant bailey, a trades bailey, a dean of the guild, and a deacon conveyor. All commerce. Now, the Lord Provost, a lot of people aren't familiar with Lord Provosts. Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen and Dundee are the only places that have Lord Provosts. They're higher than mayors. Other cities in Scotland have Provosts, not Lord Provosts. Go and look into that, very interesting. But what you'll find is the Lord Provost as a conveyor of a local authority, the civic head of or the Lord Lieutenant of one of the principal cities of Scotland. The role is similar to that of a mayor, but what if you go and look into it now? What I'm looking for now is Glasgow City Chambers. If I have that open, Glasgow City Chambers. Now the reason I'm showing you this is that if you go and look at Glasgow City Chambers, this was obviously built during the Victorian era, when Glasgow was a second city. It had a 2-week advantage with the trade winds against the rest of Europe, so made a lot of money on the back of that. City Chambers was opened in 1888, and if you go and look onto the history, it was first the Glasgow Town Council from 1888 to 1895. Then it was replaced by the Glasgow Corporation. So you have the Glasgow Corporation, whose headquarters are the City Chambers. Sitting in the City Chambers is the Lord Provost. Lord Provost is the conveyor of the local authority. The local authority being the Glasgow Corporation, and the Lord Provost by the City of Glasgow Police. The City of Glasgow. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up here, but there's so much information. Let me see if I can. Here you have the police force getting set up with the Lord Provost, and then what I'm looking for now, if I can remember right, is the Glasgow Police Act. That's what I'm looking for. The Glasgow Police Act 1800 was an act of Parliament passed by the Parliament of the United Kingdom which established a professional corporation. Okay, because beforehand you had the citizens, you had the city guard. It was the people of the city defending the city. Do you know how, like, the way it should be? I'm running out of time here. Which was established a professional police force for the city of Glasgow. Under the Act, the police force was placed under the control of the Lord Provost, and the Lord Provost, who I can't find it now. Where's the City Chambers? Sorry, but as you see on the City Chambers, it was the headquarters of the Glasgow Corporation. Who was head of the Glasgow Corporation? The Lord Provost. So although they do hide it under this word government, local authority, stuff like that, it's all corporations. They're all corporations. Go and check in Dun and Bradstreet, man. These are corporations. And Glasgow, unfortunately, I'll leave a link for all this down below. I didn't get it all in. This article here, very interesting. Same with this one as well. And we'll give you a better understanding how we've came to the corporate fascist police force that we now have there. Thumbs up, share it on Facebook, check out the radio show Gun. Me and Kev live on Truth